View of random variables. I've discussed normal distribution. So when we are talking about normal distribution and now t distribution will come under continuous probability distribution. And I'll have a just touch upon this topic today. The topic is discrete probability, which is got binomial and Poisson. But that's some way off. You go ahead. We'll have a small tutorial also on random variables. And you go in depth about what random variables are. Today I'm discussing about hypothesis testing. So this is the second part. Now we have discussed when the population standard deviation is known. So we have used standard normal distribution. When we look at hypothesis testing for population proportion, you have P. What is the population proportion? Usually the population proportion is not known, and hypothesized population proportion. So this will be given as P0 and the sample proportion. So you will have a sample size, and for population proportion is exactly what we have done before, except the formulas change. We are going to be calculating test statistic. When we are looking at standard error of P bar, which is what a holiday gift to their employees this year. So this year figures is 0.35. You have the sample as 60. Business owners this year who want to provide a holiday gift to their employees. This is the way you will be doing the hypothesis testing. You want to compute the p-value of a hypothesis test that can be used to determine the population proportion of the business owner student t distribution. I suggest you read up on this. Is an accompanying feature which I'm going to be posting, and also there are a lot of data available, a lot of information available online. You can also go through books. When you're talking about t distribution, they're very similar. This is from the family of probability distribution, and they are used when you do not have the population standard deviation. Whenever you be using the sample standard deviation S, so that's one of the difference. You're using the sample standard deviation to get the interval estimate of population mean. This is what we'll be calculating. The observations are random. I was talking about t distribution. We talk about degrees of freedom. T distribution is very similar to normal distribution. The mean is 0 and the standard deviation is symmetrical about the mean, which we talked about. Its tails are longer and thicker. So that's the difference. And the center part is much shorter as compared to normal distribution. Degrees of freedom are something which is very unique. So for different degrees of freedom, you'll have a different curve.